My wife forged documents, claiming half my company, so I buried her with evidence she couldn't escape. I'm Elias, 38M. I built my company, Northspire Analytics, a mid-sized data mining firm, from the ground up when I was 24. I had a team, but the blood and bone of that business was mine. My wife, Talia, 35F, was the kind of woman who walked into a room and made color look dull by comparison. Everyone loved her, my friends, my employees, even my parents, Corinne, 62F, and Jerry, 66M. I met her at a charity gala. She was luminous and charming, and I was the quiet guy with ink stains still stuck under my nails. We were married 2 years later and had been married for 9 years after that. For a while, life was good. My friendships grew immensely. There was Felix, 40M, my CFO and oldest buddy. We were friends since freshman year of college. I also had Imani, 30F, my brilliant operations director. Marcus, 37M, was Talia's brother, and a good friend of mine, being the only person who ever warned me she had ambition wired in. I ignored him. That was my mistake. The slip started small. Felix and I were refinancing an office building I'd purchased through the company. The bank rep, Laura, 33F, pulled me aside and asked if I wanted her to send the co-owner forms to my wife as well. I laughed. Co-owner? No, I replied. My wife has nothing to do with the business. We sat down, and she explained that Talia already signed the documents 2 months prior, claiming 50% ownership of Northspire Analytics. I went home early that day, my heart pounding like a machine out of rhythm. While Talia was out meeting friends, I tore through the office safe and found the documents. They were placed in a folder, falsely notarized, stamped, and presented as if they'd been drafted by our legal team. Talia hadn't just forged signatures. She forged entire corporate documents. Documents that, on paper, gave her half my company. I called Felix, voice shaking. We met at my house immediately with Imani on the way, both of them furious on my behalf, but then came the twist none of us expected. While doing research, Felix found out the notary who supposedly stamped Talia's documents was dead. He had been for 4 years. In that moment, I realized Talia's planning was methodical. My wife had been preparing this for a very, very long time. Once the truth was out, everyone in my group took a role in reversing Talia's damage. Felix dug through years of Northspire's internal filings. Imani handled HR, prepping for any possible fallouts. Laura, the banker, discreetly sent me everything she had on Talia's involvement. Marcus reluctantly admitted that his sister was planning a mysterious financial exit strategy for years. My parents offered to let me stay with them if things escalated, and Dr. Rowe, my therapist, helped me parse out the strange emotional numbness I was growing inside. Felix uncovered emails Talia thought she deleted, drafts of transfer contracts, plans to liquidate portions of Northspire, and texts with an unknown number discussing timelines. Imani traced that number. It belonged to a corporate attorney named Gavin, 41M, a man who had been advising my wife for months. He was married, had 3 kids, and his reputation was spotless. He crumbled immediately when we confronted him with phone records and turned over everything. Talia's plans, her requests, her attempts to push him into drafting illegal transfers, everything. I felt like I was watching someone else's life burn. 2 nights later, I ended it. I didn't scream, I didn't rage, I didn't threaten. I just walked into the living room where my future ex-wife sat reading as if she hadn't spent years undermining my entire existence. For the first time in our marriage, she had nothing to say. I handed everything to my personal attorney, Callahan,